Get this all just so tucked in the way it ought to be, right? So, when you think of fest beers, right? So, we've done this year at least, 2025. We have done a traditional Marzen by Eyinger. That is the super traditional, very old, historic Reinheitsgebot brewed traditional Oktoberfest beer, the original, dating back to all the way the beginning of Oktoberfest celebrations, that is. It is a Marzen. It is heavily malty. It is strong. You're not really going to necessarily be wanting to drink a whole bunch of those at some big extended party. It is the very definition of liquid bread. Not particularly high ABV, but very malty and sweet. Along later comes the fest beer. So now I have also drunk the the Sierra Nevada fest beer for 2025, which is a collaboration, as it always is. I do not recall the brewery it's a collaboration with, but it is a traditional German brewery, though a smaller one, that has collaborated with Sierra Nevada. And that was okay, though, I must say, drinking it while eating food is an entirely different experience than drinking it on its own. It is really best with food, and it is wonderful with food. It makes the food better, and the food makes the beer better. The relatively high hoppiness of Sierra Nevada's 2025 Fest beer plays very nicely with savory foods. But let's go back to Germany. Not for a full-on Marzen, though. Let's do a Fest beer from Germany. This time, the Paulaner Oktoberfest Bier. And this is definitely a Fest beer and not a Marzen. I know this is very much not the traditional Fest beer glass. It is my traditional drinking glass, though, the one that I do all my videos with. So I picked this up at Trader Joe's. You can pick Paulaners up at most major retailers. It's a pretty well distributed Fest beer. It is a Fest beer, not a Marzen, so it is far lighter in overall character than a full-on Marzen. And it is intended to be able to be drunk in pretty high quantities over a pretty extended period of time for the full-on Oktoberfest parties. It still has that very nice maltiness. However, it is attenuated. It is not the super sweet, enriched bread kind of maltiness. There's still a sweetness to it. It's just, it tastes about, or it smells about half as strong as, say, the Eyinger. I would guess this is still a Reinheitsgebot beer, though it does not actually say Reinheitsgebot on the can. The fact that it says beer on it, though, and it is a German brewery, it is brewed in Germany, in Munich. I am guessing that, in order to be called beer in Germany, it typically has to be brewed according to the Reinheitsgebot, unless it is one of a few very specific exceptions, such as Hefeweizen or the like. The fact that this says beer on it probably means that it's Reinheitsgebot. That means it is a full barley malt. It is water, hops, yeast, and barley. And those are the only 4 ingredients in it. And the fact that you can get so much variance, so many different styles of beer from those 4 ingredients, just different recipes, right? That's all it takes. And I mean, yes, there's a lot of different varieties of hops. Yes, there are different varieties of barley even. Yes, you can use different water that has different mineral concentrations or characteristics. And you can use different yeasts as well. So there's variance within there, but still, it's very interesting the whole theme and variations that beer is based upon. And this is just another one of those variations. This really does smell like harvest, right? You've got these milled grains, that have been boiled to bring out their sugars, but either diluted or not boiled so hard or long as the Marzen, or maybe it's cut afterwards. I'm not actually sure. It still smells just like that Eyinger Oktoberfest Marzen smelt very much like a beautiful harvest beer. This smells like a harvest beer. It makes me wonder if you brewed a pumpkin ale, not a pumpkin spice ale, a pumpkin ale based on like a fest beer base. That would probably be a good base to start on. And I think the gourd characteristics would be a very nice additive to that sort of thing. Yeah. Once again, very much in line with the Marzen, just far lighter. And frankly, I think it's more enjoyable because of that. This is another one of the gold standards. I believe Paulaner is one of the big beer tents in Munich. Like they're one of the big halls that you can go to where they're just serving Paulaner in Munich for the big Oktoberfest celebration. It's the Germany's number one Oktoberfest beer. So it's probably the biggest of the beer tents. Though I'd imagine there's competition for that every year. It's very, very drinkable. It's not bitter, like almost at all. I'm not tasting there's no hop buildup here 15, 20 seconds later. It is still primarily a barley malty sweetness, but it's just lighter. The carbonation is also pretty prevalent. Like I'm picking up a bit of that kind of carbonic acid. There might be a hint of some tannins in there, but they're very subtle, very light. They're just kind of deft strokes. Because the sweetness is so much less, it's not like this drinks like a soda, but it also is simply not drinking so thick as the Marzen. You don't have to have so much else out there to kind of counteract and provide, counterbalancing flavors with the beer. Unlike the Sierra Nevada, this is also very much more drinkable on its own, largely because it doesn't have that building and eventually overwhelming hoppiness. The hoppiness that there is, I would say, is halfway between like cut grass and an earthiness, but it's very mild, very deft, very, very subtle. And like the primary finish is almost a mineral. I think the tannins are the biggest finishing note on this, to be honest. Yeah, I like this beer. Right now, I would say it is my favorite of the Fest beers of 2025. I would imagine this is pretty consistent year on year. That is one thing that Germany has also perfected, is consistent output in their beer. I mean, Budweiser and so forth, that's a very consistent output as well, but it's consistently garbage or of a different quality, different standard than the German beers. While it is generally okay to sniff at American mass market beers, don't sniff at German mass market beers. They're doing things differently there, and they bring that craft attitude to their big names in ways that American brewers, like the major American brewers, I think have generally lost. Yeah, I would. I think that's a fair statement that I could stand behind or beside. It's no hill I'm going to die on, right? But I think I'm reasonably comfortable making that statement out loud and affirming it. Yeah, I like this. This is a very good beer. The malty sweetness, the slight earthy, green, grassy hop, that kind of tannic or mineral character that just the slightest amount helps to provide just a little bit of counterpoint to the sweetness, and it all works really beautifully. And it's a beautiful beer. I would cook with this. I would drink it. I would buy kegs of it if I had a kegerator, and I will certainly drink the rest of it that I have in my fridge, and probably go back for more. I think at this point, it's still pretty early in the year. We're only in the midway through the first week of September, so there's plenty more time to be drinking my fall beers. Anyways, this is me, Matthew. I have been drinking and definitely enjoying the Paulaner Oktoberfest Bier, the original from Munich Oktoberfest. And I will catch y'all on the flip side.